you obviously had the Problem album, and then you had the Answer album. So
Yeah.
what was the problem and the answer you were addressing on those?
Well, the problem was really like I'm a problem. You know what I mean? Like I'm a problem in this game here. Um, so that's what the problem was about, and it dealt with mathematics. So with the answer, I went away from the samples, and at that time I remember like, everybody was saying like, Wizard needs to go back to the samples and but I understood. I got it. Like as a producer, you want to do more than just sample. You want to do more than just that. And then look at RZA now putting together like orchestras, and
Yeah.
symphonies and things, incredible things. Um, but it's a journey to get there. Um, and it's in your journey is hit or miss. For me, like the answer, it was something that I had to do to get to where I'm at now because I learned a lot. I learned a lot doing it. Like if I was to do it now, I know I would do it way better. You know what I mean? Um,
Well,
but
it
but
also led me to the sequencing question because Cousin Jackson being the first song on
uh-huh.
there, but that's with quote unquote unknown or underground artists compared to the Old Dirties, the Street Lives, the Mess, the Rays, the Decks. So do you remember why you put that one, why you wanted to put Cousin Jackson up there at the top?
Well, Oslo was my artist at the time, and he was Oslo was crazy. He was dope. And I was really trying to showcase him. I think Cousin Jackson was a good one. It wasn't the up tempo drive, but sometimes you could slide right into it. And that's what I was trying to do with the answer. I haven't listened to the answer in a long time. I probably need to get out and listen. Um, yeah, I probably need to get out and listen before I comment on the answer. I just know how I feel about it right now.
Which is,
Like, um, that's why I would have to really listen to it again to get my feelings. But I wouldn't put that up there, with my, like the problems, love, hella right. Um, with you know, the saga continues, and definitely not Black Samson. It was a learning album for me. You know,
well, that's another thing with Black Samson in particular. The reality is I think a lot of artists that are highly skilled, such as yourself, can sustain a level of greatness, excellence, whatever people want to say. And I think that you've proven that and you've done that with Black Samson. But the perception, I think, is rap is only a young man's game. But I think it's changed so much now that it's clearly not only a young man's game. So
but
why do you think
I
that's changed?
see. I never agreed with that because I ain't gonna say I was there from the creation of hip hop because I remember when I first seen it and it was brought to me, and I remember how I fell in love with it, and it became a lifestyle. And I remember when I couldn't do music in junior high school because Ronald Reagan took out all the music in the schools. I remember us beating on the tables, beatboxing, and doing everything else. It made us more expressive musically. And I think hip hop was it was our way of life, and it's always been our way of life. I think the narrative change where it's a young man's game is when you listen to, I think labels did that. I think labels tried to dictate to us what hip hop and rap music is. And and for one, I think they try to usher out the older guys because the older guys then learn, oh,
The
this is what y'all was
business.
doing.
They learn the
Yeah,
business.
yeah, yeah. So it's like they'll tell the new guy, oh, don't mess with him. He's old, he's washed, so he's this and that, because they don't want us to converse. They don't want us to speak because they don't want us to tip them to something that you know they they gonna lose control. Because I think they lost control when it came to 90 rappers. Because if you look at it in the 90s, everybody was unique and different. Nobody sounded the same. So it's like, you know, You could try to get rid of Wu-Tang, but what you gonna do? The people still want Wu-Tang, and there's only one place they can get it is from Wu-Tang. You could try to get rid of um, Jay-Z if you want, but that's what they, I'm just saying, just throwing names out there. In particular, everybody had a unique sound. I think when the early 2000s came along, I think labels found out a way to make assembly line of artists. So if one acts up or they can't control it, get rid of him. We bring in the next one. Somebody else can fill that void quick, and they look for the next this and the next that, the next certain individual. Like they's looking for the next Biggie, they's looking for the next Pac, they looking for the next, instead of finding the next unique individual.
But
Kendrick
that's
is a unique individual. See what I'm saying?
yeah. But I think
You can't
that's
replace Kendrick. You can't do that.
but this is the discussion I always appreciate, and I'd love to get your insight on it, is that I believe that in the 79 is the beginning of rap on record, but really it's not till the 80s where we saw the obviously the explosion of rap on record. But by the time the business, the labels caught up to it really in 87, 88, 89, when you start having more and more major label artists and indies backed by major labels in a big way. The difference was back then, they didn't know if De La Soul or Too Short or N.W.A. or Poor Righteous Teachers. They had no idea who was going to be successful or not because it wasn't a track record to say this works. Because it was all working, or most of it was working. Because it
Right.
was, to your point, everybody was distinctive.
It was organic.
It was organic and it was driven by, as the key is with all culture and all movements, it was driven by
The
the
youth.
people. It was driven by the people, the
Yeah.
artists, the consumers. It wasn't driven by a business.
Right.
The
Right. I
business
agree.
was able to thrive because of the organic evolution. I'm from Maryland. Go-Go never
Oh,
succeeded.
go go. Chuck
Go-Go,
Brown and
it never succeeded in a business sense outside of a 20-mile radius from a real business perspective. But in that 20 miles, because it was unfiltered and unfettered by business, it worked.
yeah.
And there's songs, as you know, there's tons of rap songs that have been sampling go-go since the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Pump me up.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
go.
Trouble Funk.
Trouble
So,
funk. Trouble funk.
so all that to be said, when, and it's not that it's good or bad, it's just that when the corporations or businesses or people that are not invested in it for what it is get involved, to your point, they start telling narratives. But I think one of the things that's disappointed me so much is that then so many people, quote unquote, of the culture also do the same thing once they become successful because they want to your point, hold their position, as opposed to, if you just keep building success, by default, you're going to hold your position because you're now teaching, educating, spreading the knowledge, wisdom, understanding because you have it. And you can build that compound interest of helping all these people, but also then at the same time doing it yourself with them. So it's
Yeah.
very
And look,
strange.
they say that well, I'm gonna say this. When you look at music, right, it's like you never it wasn't until hip hop that somebody was too old to do something. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Quincy Jones came out with Secret Garden in the 90s.
right.
Quincy Jones started playing trumpet in the 40s. He was doing jazz clubs in the 40s and 50s. So you talk about 50 years later, even when he
Yeah.
did Thriller, he was up there. So it's like I don't music is for everybody. And I think the older you get, really the better you get. And it just seems like in hip hop it's a shame when they say, "Oh, um, you know, it- yeah, it's for the young people. It is, but it's for everybody." Because
And
if you look at it right now, we're showing improving it. Whether you listen to Muddy Waters 2, right? Um, what you call who just dropped? Somebody else just dropped. Oh, Ice Cube got, you know what I mean? Um, it's a lot of banging stuff out there where it's like a lot of the elders, because we've been through this and we understand how to make music. We you know, it's like we took the time to really learn, and we take pride in our craft.
Right.
I think that's a big difference too. We're not trying to rush nothing and throw nothing out there to get them to dance and do this. Nah, we just want to make music. We just want to make good music. At the end of the day, that's all I want to do. I just want to make music. I could make music forever. Is, you know, Wu-Tang is forever. I could DJ forever. I can make music forever. Anything dealing with music, there's no age limit on it. You know, maybe it's an age limit on what you're talking about, because you shouldn't be a grown man doing rapping about certain, excuse me, rapping about certain things that don't apply to you. You know what I mean? And I don't think you have to do something, you know, to relate to the. I think the youth will find you if you make good music and something that catches their ear. They'll find you.
No, I mean, my daughter, obviously, I'm playing her a lot of stuff, but she loves like Tribe Called Quest and Rakim, and she's 15. But
You know what I'm saying?
she's been listening to him since she was a baby. But the
Right,
point is, she doesn't not like it now. She still loves it.
right.
But that's because of how great it is, you know? So, and Black Samson, I'd say, carries on that tradition. So
Thank
congratulations.
you. Thank you. Appreciate that, man.
All right. Well, mathematics, I know we've been talking now a long time. Before we wrap, is there anything I didn't ask you about or you wanted to add?
No, I think we good. I think we're good. You know, until the next time. We can continue another time. Till the next time.